Well, welcome inductees, family, and friends to the Brookdale Athletics Hall of Fame. It is a pleasure to honor and induct tonight's class of 2015, only the second Hall of Fame class to be inducted since the original class back in 1979. Tonight we honor some of the finest athletes, coaches, administrators, and teams that have ever passed through Brookdale. In total, 7 former athletes, 1 former team, 1 former coach, and 1 former athletic director will be forever remembered as the class of 2015. This evening would not be possible. This evening would not be possible without the help and support of many. First, I'd like to recognize and thank the Hall of Fame Selection Committee, and if you'd stand and be recognized, Tim Zeiss, Shannon Ventry, Lauren Watson, Jim Palumbo, Doug Welch, and Tony Graham. Without you, this night wouldn't be possible, and thank you. I'd also like to recognize the collaboration between and the support of and the underwriting of the Brookdale Foundation and the Brookdale Alumni Association. Thank you. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, our gold sponsor, Reardon and Anderson tonight, and our platinum sponsors, Coach USA and NJNG, New Jersey Natural Gas. Again, without the support, this would not be possible. Most important tonight, have fun, share stories from the past, and congratulations to the class of 2015. At this time, I'd like to welcome the president of Brookdale Community College, Dr. Maureen Murphy.
Thank you, Shawn. I'm delighted to be here, and don't you think we should do this more than once every 36 years? I am delighted to be here. Tonight we are really celebrating a history of wonderful accomplishments by our athletic teams, our players, our coaches, our athletic directors, and we have a strong Jersey Blues legacy, and I am so proud of that. It continues to today. It will continue for years and years into the future. And so Shawn was right when he talked about the continuum of the past, present, and future, because that's where we are right now. I want to congratulate everybody here who is being honored, all of the guests, and I want to welcome you, and I hope you have a lovely time, and I can't wait to see each and every honoree. Thank you.
Also, before we move on, I'd like to just introduce, if he'd stand, he's one of our former inductees, the class of 1979, Mr. John Montefiusco. If you'd stand and show everybody where you are, please. One of our original Hall of Fame inductees, John Montefiusco. Now to introduce the master of ceremonies for tonight, and if you're an Orioles fan, probably no stranger. Veteran broadcaster Jim Hunter completed his 18th year as a member of the Orioles broadcast team in 2014, including his 11th season in the TV booth for MASN. He hosted O's Extra, MASN's Oriole pregame and postgame shows, and also called play-by-play of the O's games on MASN and on the Orioles radio network. He has also called play-by-play of MASN's coverage of college football and college basketball. Hunter was originally named the Orioles' lead radio announcer on February 5th, 1997, and brings to the booth 37 years of diversified broadcasting experience that ranges from Major League Baseball to the NFL to the Olympics. Hunter came to Baltimore from CBS Sports, where he had been since 1982. He had been a member of the network's MLB Game of the Week announcing since 1986. He broadcasted the American League Championship Series, teaming with Hall of Famer Johnny Bench from 1990 to 1992, and with the Orioles' first radio voice. Hall of Famer Ernie Hartwell in 1993. In 1995 and 1996, he called the National League Division Series and the NLCS, teaming with Hall of Famer Jerry Coleman. In addition, Hunter hosted Inside Pitch, the CBS Radio Sunday night baseball pregame show. When Jim began his career at the CBS Radio Network in 1982, he served as the Saturday evening anchor of Sports Central USA. He was later assigned to host Sports Break, a daily feature heard on CBS Radio from 1984 to 1987. It was in 1987 that Jim was named full weekend anchor of Sports Central USA. Jim's experience is varied and all-inclusive. In 1992 from Albertville, France, and again in 1994 from Lillehammer, Norway, Hunter served as studio anchor for CBS Radio's network coverage of the Winter Olympic Games. Also was the host for the NFL preview and NFL pregame and halftime reports. Jim has covered 12 Super Bowls. He began his broadcasting career in 1978 at WJLK Radio in Asbury Park, New Jersey. An active parishioner of St. Mark's Roman Catholic Church and a third-degree member of the Knights of Columbus, Hunter is involved in numerous charitable projects. During the off-season, he also makes appearances in the community on behalf of the ball club and has been an active part of the Johns Hopkins Pediatric Oncology Friends Committee, which raises money annually for Children's of Cancer research. A native of New Jersey, Hunter is a 1973 graduate of St. Benedict School and a 1977 graduate of St. John Vianney High School. He was inducted into the high school's Athletic Hall of Fame for football and baseball in 1994. He attended Brookdale Community College and is a 1982 graduate of Seton Hall University in South Orange with a Bachelor's of Arts in Communication. His peers have recognized Hunter for his accomplishments on several occasions. In 2002, he was named Maryland Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sportscaster and Sportswriter Association. He also received the prestigious Radio TV Media Excellence Award from the New Jersey Sportswriter Association in 1998. Hunter resides in Fallston, Maryland with his wife Bonnie, who's here this evening. They have 3 children, Jimmy, Jeff, and Allie. And without further ado, here is the Master of Ceremony, Jim Hunter.
And it dawned on me as you were reading that, I realized yesterday was my 19th anniversary of going to Baltimore. So thank you for remembering that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute thrill to be back here at Brookdale and with so many friends. As Shawn mentioned, I was a student at Brookdale 1977 through 1979 and became part of the community. And as you can see with the count here tonight, once you're part of a community like this, it really never leaves you. You might not have the occasion to get back as often as you would like, especially with living out of state now. I'm 3 hours away, but it is part of what you are and where you came from, and it's very, very important. In fact, I can honestly say that career that Shawn just read, which to me it just made me seem like I'm old. a lot of things in there, but it really did all begin at Brookdale Community College and at WBJB Radio, which is still a thriving campus radio station. When I went to Brookdale in September of 1977, I had every intention of continuing playing baseball. I went to St. John Vianney in Homedale, and we had a very, very good baseball team there. My junior and senior year, we played for the state championship each year, unfortunately lost each year, but we were one of the top high school programs in the country. So I went to Brookdale, and I knew Paul Maclaughlin had a great program there, and I had every intention of playing. So going out for fall ball, you go out and you practice. They didn't play any games in the fall, but Paul figured out who was going to be on the team. And I soon found out that me continuing my baseball career at Brookdale, there was this one major problem, and his name was Billy Derry. You see, Billy Derry graduated from Manalapan in 1977, and he was first team All-State. I was second team All-Parochial. And Billy, of course, ended up being the second baseman on that team. Now, Paul knew that my father had worked in television. He worked on WPIX TV on Yankee games for his whole career. And Paul suggested to me that, Jim, you might want to become the team's announcer. We got this guy, Billy Derry, over here, and I recruited him, and, he can really play. And Billy could play. I mean, 2 very good seasons there, and played in the college junior World Series. That Billy Hill, who's being honored here tonight, was on that team as well. But in looking back at that time, that might have been the nicest way to get cut from a team ever. You might want to become the team's announcer. But as I stand here tonight, February 6, 2015, Billy Derry and I, one of us made it to the major leagues. Thank you very much. Billy's a good guy, but it's, the record now shows that I made it to the major leagues. And Shawn also mentioned that I got my start at WJLK professionally. I was first semester of my sophomore year. I was 19, and Tony Graham, who's at our table tonight, he's on the selection committee here. Tony was the big top sports writer, along with Elliot Denman at the Asbury Park Press. And sports writers work nights, and what Tony used to do is he would record morning reports for WJLK radio. Well, they wanted to upgrade that and have somebody in there live to do banter with the co-host. And there was a student at WBJB, Mike Farrell was his name, and he had a part-time news job there, and he suggested, you might want to look at this guy. I think he's got a chance. So I went down and auditioned, and the thing about the audition that I remember most was the program director asked me if I could type. I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. So they said, okay, we'll go in this room over here and type a script, and then we're going to see what you sound like. So, I was in there hunting, pecking. I mean, how old I am. There was a manual typewriter. And it's funny, I still type that way because I learned where the keys were, and I can't now type normally because I found that out. But here I was, it was about 2 weeks before my 20th birthday that I got hired at WJLK, and it was because of the experience in large part at Brookdale. And one of the things about Brookdale and WBJB, Rick Hansen ran it. Unfortunately, he just passed away last year, but he ran the radio station as it would be when you went out in the workforce. And that's the best way to learn. You don't go there and fool around and play your favorite songs. You go there, but once you get into the professional broadcasting, whatever it ends up being, people control your life. And it was really good to learn that at Brookdale, that if you're going to make it, you better get used to this. So it was just an outstanding, wonderful experience. And from WJLK to CBS for 15 years, and then in 1997 down to Baltimore to become part of the Orioles organization, and I'll begin my 19th year on opening day this year. And as John Montefusco could tell you, there's nothing better if you're a baseball guy than being part of a major league team. You're part of the family. You're there. We had a great year last year. Came up a little short. Almost made it to the World Series. But I was on television the night we clinched the AL East. Jim Palmer and I did the broadcast, and it's the most watched game ever in Orioles television history, and your little guy from Brookdale called the game. So it was really, really a lot of fun. John Montefusco and Denny Walling, I guess Paul can correct me when he gets up here, but easily the 2 most successful baseball players that ever came out of this program. The Count was the second draftee out of Paul's program. George Hart was the first. And Denny batted 600 when he was a sophomore. Paul, that's good, right? Batting 600 over a year. But Denny actually just worked for the Orioles up until he's retiring now. He was our AAA hitting coach the last 5 years after a long career in the big leagues. But it's great to see the Count. I wish Denny was here. He's down in Virginia. And as we get into the inductions now, I do want to do one thing personally. When Shawn called me, and to give you an idea how long they've been planning this, my memory of it was July or August of last year. You called me. I was on my way to the ballpark. And he mentioned the date. He said, we're going to do this thing February 6th, 2015. I was like, ooh. All right, well, let me make sure the Orioles don't need me, because we always have this big fan fest weekend sometime in late January, early February, and I have to attend that. And fortunately, that was last weekend. And I said, well, the other thing is I better ask my wife. You see, tonight is Bonnie's birthday. And Bonnie, happy birthday. And As any man knows, you better check with the boss. So I told Shawn, I better ask, and she said, no problem. I mean, she's a baseball announcer's wife, and we spend a lot of time doing baseball announcer things. She raised the kids, she pays the bills, I get allowance. It's a wonderful situation. It's a wonderful situation. So thank you for allowing me to attend tonight. Thank you, and happy birthday. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to induct the first player, then we're going to have dinner, and then we'll come back with the rest of the program. And the reason for that, Mike Grimsley, who is being inducted for men's soccer, he must have a really good job because he's in China. So he can't be here tonight. So he sent an email to Shawn that I'm going to read. He was on the team in 86 and 87, and NSCAA All-American his sophomore year. After leaving Brookdale, he was a two-time All-American at Greensboro College in North Carolina, where he also was twice named the Dixie Conference Player of the Year. And in 91, he was inducted into the Greensboro Athletics Hall of Fame. And if you had an induction prior to 39 years ago, he might have already been in Brookdale's before that, right? There you go. So I think you're onto something here. But here's the email that he sent to Shawn to talk to all of you folks. My time attending Brookdale Community College and playing soccer for Coach Doug Welch and Jack Ryan proved to be the most important years of my life. What I learned from the two of them on the field and in school helped shape me both as a person and a player. I went on from Brookdale to play at Greensboro, where I had the privilege of playing in the national championship, becoming a two-time All-American, two-time Conference Player of the Year, and graduated with a BS in marketing and business. While I was fortunate to play a little professional soccer, it was the off-the-field lessons that helped me most. I didn't know at the time, but Jack Ryan taught me so many invaluable things while working under his direction through Brookdale's work-study program. He would always find ways to show and tell if life's everyday intangibles, from preparing to purposely to training and work rates both on and off the field and as well as in the classroom. My time spent at Brookdale exposed me to many new and challenging experiences. I appreciated my time spent on campus playing for the Jersey Blues, but most of all, I'm privileged and very thankful for all that Doug and Jack taught me during a time period in my life when it was needed most. I'm disappointed that I couldn't be at the ceremony tonight to be there in person, but hopefully my travels will get me back to campus soon and I'll be able to say hi. Thank you all for this most humbling honor, and that's from Mike Grimsley to Shawn. He got this email today. So there he is. So now Mike is officially in. Is he gonna get his plaque? Is Jack gonna? Okay, we'll get it to him. So at the moment there are 4 in the Hall of Fame. Right, we're building on this. Okay, we have 6 more to go plus a team, so we're going to enjoy our dinner now, let you eat, and then we'll come back and do the program. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for inviting me back. It is an absolute honor to be here. Thank you. He then went to play football at Rutgers under head coach Frank Burns. He played 5 years of professional football, plus his time in the minor leagues with the New York Mets. He played for the Ottawa Rough Riders in the Canadian Football League, the Cleveland Browns for a couple of years, the New Jersey Generals in the USFL in 1985, and then the Dallas Cowboys in 1987. He now has more than 20 years of coaching experience and is currently the head football coach at Asbury Park High School. I would like to welcome to the stage to induct Bill, his coach, Paul Maclaughlin, and our first inductee tonight, Mr. Bill Hill. Bill, come on up.
A little slow tonight, boy. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to everybody here who's being inducted tonight. Your families, friends, everyone certainly proud of you. Brookdale's proud of you. All of us are proud of you. And it certainly is a nice night. I have a lot of my old baseball players are here. I say I don't claim them, but they're here. I do love you guys, but you notice they put them in the back. So that's a good thing. But thanks for coming, and you know I love you guys. But as far as Bill is concerned, I look here and I see Bo Jackson at Auburn, football, baseball. Barry Sanders, football, baseball. Dave DeBuscher, Knicks, pitched for the White Sox. Gene Conley, anybody remember Gene Conley? Another two-sport man. Well, Brookdale has one of its own, and it couldn't be a finer person. Bill came to us from the University of Virginia. He was a great student in high school, honor society, and was all-state in 2 sports. Should have been in 3, but he only scored 1,000 points in basketball, so they forgot about him. Great person, great to be around, and he was part of something that may never happen again at Brookdale. 1979, we went to the World Series. We had a left fielder by the name of Bill Hill, who was drafted by the Mets. We had a center fielder, Gene Herring, who was his boy, right? Gene was drafted, went to LSU, made all conference and everything. And right fielder, we had Mark Baker, who was also drafted, went on and led his team to a national championship in college when he left Brookdale. So to have your entire outfield drafted in one season says something, and Billy was the best of that best. So you can't say more than that for him. Jimmy stole a little of my thunder, saying that he played for Cleveland Browns and Ottawa Rough Riders and some of those. But one night, Barbara and I were watching TV, and Dallas happened to be the Monday night game of the week. And starting at left cornerback, Bill Hill. I said, Barb, get in here, will you? I said, there's Billy on TV. And sure enough, he was there. He did a great job, and I think you guys won that night, didn't you?
I believe we did. Yeah.
I think you did. Yeah, it was a great game. But
We never lost.
but he's been involved in high school coaching for quite a while. He was an associate head coach at Lakewood and another place, Asbury Park. Now he was the head coach at Toms River South, and now this year will be the head coach at Asbury Park. He's the attendance officer, which is a difficult job at Asbury, as we all know. But Bill does it real well and does a great job. I failed to introduce his family, but I'll leave that up to Bill. There's not many people that you form friendships with over the years and remain friends for, well, since 1978. You do the math. I forgot how. But he's a great person, and I'm sure now you have to go see Jimmy Hunter down in Baltimore. Yeah. His wife's a good cook. So don't worry about that. If you can get her out of Federici's. But anyway, I'm really honored to be able to do this tonight. And the best thing I can say about Bill is he was the epitome of a student athlete. He did everything that we ever asked of him. He went on with his life and made something of himself, and that's the most important thing. But when you have somebody who is a professional, he was actually ahead of Mookie Wilson on the Mets depth chart and walked away from it to play pro football. So that's how good he was, and he's even that better of a person. So with that being said, and I'm not good at speaking, but I love Bill, and I introduce Bill Hill.
I could real quickly answer. Then I'll say some words after. Okay.
Congratulations,
Thanks, Coach, for kind words. I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me to for me being here tonight. I am honored to be inducted into the Brookdale Athletic Hall of Fame. My experience at Brookdale was fantastic. The 2 years playing baseball team, the team achieved great goals. I like the knowledge. Coach also I got to say something later about, but some of the guys that like Bolt, he's coaching now the softball, but he was one of the assistant coaches. Worked with us in the outfield over at Brookdale. You had George Hart. Then I want to also mention Jack Ryan. Before there was chiropractors, there was Jack Ryan. So glad you remember that. I enrolled in Brookdale in January 1978. I graduated in May of '79. I had left the University of Virginia on a football scholarship in September 1977. Coach Maclaughlin contacted me and asked me if I'd like to join the baseball team. Baseball became a great experience. We had an outstanding team. We had fun. The best team camaraderie I had ever experienced in my life. The 1979 lineup, the guys that he was talking about, I was the leadoff hitter, and we would have, and if I got on first base, we had many options. You could steal, be a hit and run, or a run and hit, or you had the number 2 hitter, Billy Derry, the hit machine. We hit a double. Or number 3, Andy Petrone, he talked about. Number 4, Geno Herring, Steve Betrazo, 5, Mark Baker. All those guys can hit the long balls. I really want to bring those guys' name up, because that was probably, when we were just talking about it outside there, that was one of the best lineups that you could just watch those guys hit. Coach Maclaughlin, I was fortunate in my life to be around some great coaches. Frank Burns at Rutgers, Sam Rutigliano, Marty Schottenheimer, Walt Michaels with the New Jersey Generals, Tom Landry, Cowboys, Jim Garrett, Cowboys in Cleveland. Coach, you would be like Tom Landry, Jim Garrett with your leadership, your honesty, and good life values, which I will take as a coach in a short conference. One of the baseball notes I wanted to really bring about for playing for coach and his staff, Bo and George, they had us drilled for every aspect of the game. But the biggest thing I remember, when you're an athlete, you kind of think you got it figured out. But Coach taught us to be a better hitter. It was to study the pitcher, anticipate the next pitch. You would actually know. He would be in the dugout constantly telling you, what did he throw you? What was his first pitch? What did he throw you the second? Did you remember that? What was his best pitch? And he came back around again. And, when I think of Brookdale, when I think of playing for Coach, that's what that's what I always think about. And, that taught me to be a better hitter. And I appreciated everything that he taught me about the game. And if it had not been for Coach, I would not be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Congratulations. Bill was talking about the 1979 trip to the Junior College World Series, and the college was nice enough to send the broadcasters to broadcast the games live back to New Jersey. Rick Hansen, who ran WBJB, was my color man, and I did the play-by-play. And it was the first time I had ever been away to cover something like that. And there were 2 people in the travel party that didn't pack enough clothes, me and Bill Hill. And there was one afternoon we had off, and we had to spend the afternoon in a laundromat that we found in Grand Junction, Colorado, to have enough clean clothes to get through the rest of the trip. Kind of a strange memory I have from the World Series, but there was Bill and I sitting there washing our jeans to get through the rest of the trip. So congratulations, Bill, well deserved. Our next inductees, brothers Ron and Abel Lampa, men's tennis, 2001 to 2003. Ron and Abel jointly helped the Brookdale men's tennis program make its mark in the early 2000s. In 2002, the duo took the Region 19 and the national championship titles at #1 doubles, which was the first time in Brookdale history that happened. Each was a power of his own. Abel earned the first singles national runner-up in 2003, second singles national runner-up in 2002, and Ron was crowned the second singles national champion in 2001. We'd like to have Ron and Abel Lampa and the men's tennis coach Rich Karpinski come up for the induction into the Hall of Fame. Gentlemen.
What you see in front of the podium are 3 consecutive undefeated teams that both Ronnie and JR led in 2001, 2002, and 2003. It's very rare that an individual athlete has an overwhelming, dramatic, dominating impact on a sports program. The Brookdale men's tennis team had not just one, but two such players in 2001, 2002, and 2003, and they were Ronnie and JR Lampa. Ronnie came to Brookdale in 2002. He played second singles. He won the regional title. He played number one doubles and won the regional doubles title with his partner, Chris Bucanico. He then went on to the Nationals, won the Nationals at number two singles. He was a finalist at number one doubles. And his team, again, he led. They were undefeated. They won the GSAC and regional championship, and the team placed third nationally. His individual honors, he was Region 19 and GSAC first team at both singles and doubles. He was a first team All-American at number two singles, and second team All-American at number one doubles. Great season, Ron. Now it really gets good because JR came Ron's second year, and it was a very easy team to coach, I'll tell you that. Both of these guys, they're both awesome tennis players. They both have different styles. Ron was more finesse, but he was like lightning on the court, and JR was all power, and he was just a beast. He could hit the heck out of the ball. Anyway, these two guys, they took the, Ron played one. He won the regional singles title at one. Both Ron and JR won the regional doubles title. And then, and JR was undefeated. He was also regional, he also won the regions at number two singles. And then we went down to the Nationals, and these guys won the Nationals at number one doubles, and it was an absolutely incredible match. They lost the first set at 6-love. We had a little powwow on the sideline. We completely changed the strategy. They played two guys that were both 6'5" and 6'6". They were monsters. They couldn't hit the ball through them, by them, so we just said, just go back on the baseline, just hit lobs, and let's wear them out and see what happens. Well, it worked really well. They won the second set, they clawed back. Then in the third set tiebreaker, it was every point was nail biting. I mean, this was very, very intense. And at one point, these guys were down 10-9. It was match point. By the way, a tiebreaker in tennis, if you play to 7, you got to get to 7 and win by 2 points. Well, it was 10-9, and Ron hit a very weak lob. JR was at the net, and he went scrambling backwards to try to get back into position. The guy nailed an overhead at his feet, and he didn't have time to hit a stroke, and he hit the ball this way behind him, and he literally hit the ball for a winner between the two opponents, and it was one of the most incredible points I've ever seen coaching. That was awesome. Really awesome. Anyway, they ended up winning that tiebreaker 13-11, and it was just an incredible match. Both of these guys were first team All-American that year in doubles, and they were both second team All-Americans in singles. Ron unfortunately left, and then JR took the reins. He played number one singles and doubles. He won the regional singles title, won the regional doubles title with a different partner, went on to the Nationals. He was a singles finalist, and then him and his doubles partner, they won the national doubles title. And he, JR, first team All-American in doubles, second team All-American in singles. And those are some really awesome accomplishments, guys. We're really proud of you. Now, besides all their on-court accomplishments, both Ronnie and JR were excellent students. and great guys to have on the team. They came from a great family and parents who are at table number 8. They were very coachable, worked hard, and were great teammates. They were well respected by their teammates and were willing to help others. In fact, they were well respected by other coaches and players, both regionally and nationally, and off the court during the nationals, everybody wanted, or all the other players wanted to hang around with these guys. Now, without further ado, I am very proud as their coach to induct Ronnie and JR into the Brookdale Hall of Fame class of 2015.
This is outrageous. I'm just completely overwhelmed. First, I want to congratulate all the athletes who made it this far to be inducted in 2015. Congratulations. And the organization who actually made this whole event possible. My mom and dad, thank you for all those tennis lessons, and they don't come cheap, let me tell you. And for giving us the extra edge and the extra push to play every day. 1 hour before we go to school, a couple hours afterwards, after school. It's funny how my father would come home from work and he would say, how many hours have we played, instead of like, hi, how are you? And if we say anything less than 2 hours, he would probably have a hissy fit. But that's his way of expressing his tough love. And I love you for your love and support. Coach Karpinski, this man here is by far one of the greatest coaches I've ever had to work with. Been by my side physically and consciously. I'm a total mental case in the court, so he's been there. Yeah, he's been there. Even though he had to orchestrate a whole team, he's been there. So thank you, Coach. Yeah. And what better way to celebrate this recognition with my brother? My little big brother. He has been the rock to my, tennis career, and I, can't be any more prouder. We've had chemistry, communication, and above all, he had my back. He had me mentally focused when things got tough. So, thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Take him. So, whatever my brother said, I'm not going to repeat it because it's all true. Parents, I love you. Coach, you're a great coach. I'm kidding. No, but seriously, in high school, me and my brother were once doubles partners. We played for Rosant Township High School, and we were probably top 5 in the state at the time. And our high school coach, he put us together saying, okay, you guys are brothers. You guys could definitely build up some good chemistry. And it turned out being like the worst thing ever. So we played 1 year as a doubles team, and we completely, sucked. And after that year, my high school coach was like, okay, that's it. You guys are never going to be doubles partners again. So the funny thing was that, we went to Brookdale, and I was like, oh, here we go again. I'm doubles partners with my brother. It's gonna go crazy. So, my coach is he was able to somehow encourage me and my brother to actually work together and work our strengths and weaknesses, not saying just go on the court and play tennis, but actually tell us what to do, how to mentally prepare. And, I've had plenty of coaches in my lifetime, tennis coaches, and they tell you to do things certain ways, but it was never to a personal level where it was like, do this, or, do this with determination. It was more like, do this because you have to, but do it with determination, with all your heart, all your mind, all your spirit. And if you work hard enough at, with it, using everything, not as well as your physical being, but spiritual, mental being, you will accomplish anything. And working with my brother as a doubles partner was probably the hardest accomplishment, but the best accomplishment I've ever done, considering we didn't end up killing each other on the court. But my coach has definitely showed me a way on how to reach people. Because me, myself, I am a tennis instructor, and I've been teaching tennis for a good 10 to 12 years. And, you know, knowing what my coach told me and how he taught me allowed me to actually reach to kids from 5 years old to grown-ups who are 80, 90 years old, teaching all of them, but getting to know them and pushing them to be the best they can be. And Coach led the way into showing me and how to do that. So thank you, Coach, so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
The Williams sisters and Bryan brothers has nothing on us, just letting you know.
That's really special going in as brothers. Congratulations, guys. Our next inductee, Lisa Fiorillo Lanza from women's soccer, 1998-99. Now they're getting younger, by the way, Shawn. Lisa was Brookdale's first ever two-time All-American in women's soccer. She earned second team honors in 98, first team in 99. She led the program to its first ever Region 19 championship and was named the tournament MVP, first ever NJCAA national tournament appearance back in 1998. She led the squad with 33 goals, which was third in the nation that year, and then a team record. The team that year went 18-1-1. A scholar athlete, Fiorillo earned academic All-American honors and was selected as Brookdale's NAGWS Woman of the Year. And at that same awards banquet, she was selected to deliver the athlete's response at Seton Hall University. Hey, I like Seton Hall University, in front of the governor's board. We'd like to bring Lisa up, and to induct Lisa into the Brookdale Hall of Fame is her dad, Joseph Fiorillo.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joseph Fiorillo, and I'm here to introduce my daughter, Lisa Lanza. Lisa played for Brookdale women's soccer team from 1998 to 1999. Watching her play during that time was an absolute joy and a memorable time in my family life. Soccer for my family is very important. I was born and raised in Italy, and at a young age, I always loved to play in culture, as we call it. When my family immigrated to the United States, I thought that one day I would introduce soccer to my children here in this country. My daughter Lisa could run very well. I played soccer at the age of 5. As her father, I could tell at a very early age that Lisa had a natural athleticism and innate ability with the ball, the type of talent that cannot be taught. Throughout her childhood, she always played on travel soccer teams, a lot of times on boys' teams. At the age of 14, as a freshman, she was starting forward on the Manalapan varsity girls soccer team. She did very well in high school, but she excelled in her soccer career when she attended Brookdale College. At Brookdale, Lisa was a two-time All-American soccer player, the first ever All-American for the Brookdale women's soccer program. She holds a school record of 33 goals during her first year, which has since not been broken, and scored 20 goals the following year, with a combined 53 goals in 2 seasons. She was the third leading scorer in the nation in 1998 among the NJCAA women's soccer player, leading her team to an 18-1-1 record, a Region 19 championship, and a bid in the national tournament. Lisa was also nominated as the 1999 Woman of the Year for the National Girls and Women in Sports event held at Seton Hall University. And lastly, being inducted into Brookdale Community College Hall of Fame has made our family extremely proud of her talent, and is a major life accomplishment that very few achieve. I know that Lisa, mother-to-be very soon, she'll pass on her passion for soccer to her daughter, Adriana. I can still remember I can still remember when my daughter was born, a soccer ball was waiting for her in the crib. And I know that when my granddaughter is born, a soccer ball will always be waiting for her in the crib. With love and pride, I introduce to you my daughter Lisa.
I would just like to start out to thank Brookdale for this amazing honor. I want to congratulate all the athletes that are here. I also would like to say thank you to my coach, Frank Lawrence, for coming and supporting me. I'm truly proud in accepting this achievement. Playing soccer at Brookdale is one of the fondest memories that I have, and I've taken those memories with me in my life. When I played in '98 and '99, the women's soccer program at the college was brand new. The team of 1998 brought the soccer program to a new level. I personally like to consider the women who played on that team the pioneers of the program. That year, we exceeded expectations. As a team, we accomplished an 18-1-1 record, a Region 19 championship, and a first ever bid into the national tournament. When I look back at my success at Brookdale, I can't help but smile and remember I loved every minute of playing. I remember the feeling I would have every time I stepped onto the field, home or away. I remember playing at Brookdale and never being satisfied. If I scored once, I wanted two. If I scored two, I wanted three. I remember how I felt each time I put on my number 12 jersey and laced up my cleats. I also remember how supportive my mother and father were of my soccer career at Brookdale. My father would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work early just so he could leave in time to make my home games at Brookdale, just to watch me play. I'll never forget that. And like my father just said, as a soon-to-be first-time mother and also as a wife, I'm happy to be able to share this honor with my wonderful husband who's very supportive, and of course with our beautiful daughter. I hope to pass on my passion of soccer to her, and I hope one day she will wear a Jersey Blues soccer uniform and follow in her mother's footsteps. Thank you again to Brookdale for this amazing honor.
So they know it's going to be a girl, huh? They can do that now? My youngest just turned 24. It's a long time ago. Congratulations. Next up is Jen Rosant from End Cheering Section. Now we know where the party table is. There we go. There you, oh, you got 3 tables. Wow, I can't wait to hear this speech. Jen, 1996-97, a dual threat for the Jersey Blues. She succeeded on the basketball court as well as on the softball diamond. She was Brookdale's first ever 2-sport All-American, earning honors in softball and in women's basketball. She was an integral part of Brookdale's inaugural women's basketball team, a squad that has since made a splash on the national level. Oh, and I like her even more because after Brookdale, she went to Seton Hall University. There's a pattern of that going tonight. Is your diploma in Latin like my? I can't read my diploma, by the way. I mean, I have it, but I have no idea what it says. She was named to the All Big East and All Northeast teams while at Seton Hall, and in addition to her success as a student athlete, Jen won a national championship as an assistant softball coach in 2002. We would like to welcome to the stage, minus her cheering section, Jen Rosant, and to induct Jen into the Brookdale Hall of Fame, her coach, Bo Scannapieco. Bo.
Test. I guess I could talk a little bit. I was just thinking when I was sitting there how I might be the only person here that saw everybody play. I was just thinking of that. I might be the only person right here. Does anybody else can say that?
Oh, over there maybe.
Anybody?
I see a couple people.
I don't think so. Jen Rosant. Where do I start? All right. Jen Rosant, great player, better human being. That I'm going to tell you. One of the finest people I've ever come across in my life. And I was almost stupid enough not to have Jen on my team. I'll tell you a little story. In travel ball, I was coaching a travel team. And I had a team picked. And one of the things that happened was I got a phone call from my assistant coach, a guy by the name of George Hausman. He said to me, "Hey, Bo, we got one more girl I want to try out for our team." And I said, "No." I said, "George, we got enough players. I really don't want another player on the team." So he said to me, "You know, would you really be doing me a favor if you did this? I'm good friends with her mom, Jackie's there, and her dad, Robbie, hairdresser, mail carrier." He says, "And you'd be doing me a great favor." So I thought about it. So I bring her to see what she can do. So I said, "By the way, what is her name?" And he said, "Her name is Jen Rosant." I said, "I never heard of her." So he goes, but the one thing he said, and I remember this vividly, and this is the truth. He said to me, "Bo, I promise you one thing, you won't be sorry." I said, "All right." So we're practicing. Here comes Jen. So we're doing an outfield drill, and Jen's out in right field. And she's showing off this arm. Really good arm. Not hitting a cut, just doing what she wants to do. So I was saying, "You know, Jen, if you're going to play on this team, you're going to have to learn how to hit the cut," and trying to get her to do that. She wouldn't do it. She kept throwing it and throwing it. So finally, when the outfield drill was over, we came off the field. I called Jen over, and I said, "Jen, come here a minute." First thing Jen said to me is, "What do you want, Bo?" "Not coach. Not coach, Bo. What do you want, Bo?" Like she knew me for 15 years. So I said to her, I said, "You know, Jen, if you're going to play on this team, you're going to have to learn how to hit the cut." And she said to me, she says, "Bo, I don't need a cut. Those for people who can't throw." So I said, "All right, Jen." So that's where I gave her the nickname, the hired gun. That's where that came from. I said, "So you're a hired gun?" I said, "That's right. That's what I am." So I said, "All right, Jen, all right." So Jen walks to the bench, and then George comes up to me. He was standing 10 feet away, heard the whole conversation, and he goes to me, he goes, "You know, Bo, she's really," I said, "Don't worry about it, George. She's the best player on a team." I said, "My mother didn't raise any idiots." I said, "We're going to keep her. I just got to figure out how I can channel that." So for 2 years, Jen led our program. She was definitely the leader of our team for those 2 years. She set numerous records, which were broken, unfortunately, by the next inductee. But Jen set a lot of RBI records. She was convinced by Bob Walzak to play basketball. The first year we had the team, she'll tell you that story. And she's just been a great person to be around, and I'm so proud that I can be able to do this. I just wish I could talk, but I can't do that. But this is really one of the best athletes that ever came through Brookdale. You gotta believe me on that. So, Jen, congratulations. I'm proud to be inducting you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you hold it. Okay, so I didn't know I was supposed to give a speech, but I kind of wing it just like I've done everything, just like throwing the ball. But thank you, Bo. Thank you, Brookdale. Thank you, the committee and everyone that nominated me. Thank you especially to all the girls that I've coached through all the years. Brookdale, the community, it's a family. And I have never been more proud to be a Jersey Blue. But when it comes to Bo, he has taught me to be a better me. Just every girl that has walked through this school, he has taught us to push ourselves past our comfort zones. He has taught us to be brave. He has always given us confidence. We've cried on his shoulder, we laughed. There's a lot of funny stories. But Bo's been a second dad to me. I'm shaking right now because it's very hard to talk about him. He has helped us grow in so many different ways, and I don't know about most girls, but I would probably have to say that they should name Brookdale Bowdale. They should. I mean, but honestly, I want to thank Bob Walzak for starting the women's basketball team. I played basketball and softball in high school, and thank you to my wonderful parents for their love and support to help me on my journey. But when I went through school, you know, I came to Brookdale, and playing basketball and softball, there wasn't a team. So I begged him every day, my freshman year, and he's like, it's just not happening, Jen. So sophomore year, he got the team together. He says, well, if you go and recruit people on the team, and I won't tell you what that team looked like that year. It was a shocker that we made it to the Nationals. I did average 19 points per game, but I did take every shot. So don't tell anyone. The records still show. But after we got the team together and all the hard work I did, and I was playing softball, and after my freshman year at Brookdale, I already had a full scholarship to Seton Hall, so I had already signed. And Bob said, the team started, you ready? I said, nah, I don't want to play now. So he said, please, please. So I helped him out, we played, and it was one of the best things I ever did. To start the team and to grow the community, it was such an honor, so thank you, Bob. And I did write a whole speech while I was sitting there, but you know, just thank you, everybody. The community has been wonderful. My roots, and no matter where I go in life, have always come back to Brookdale. And it has always come back to this man right here. And I wouldn't be me without you, Bo. I love you. Thank you so much.
All of a sudden, we have Marlon Brando up here with us. Godfather reference.
Hey, Bo, I'm gonna induct a couple of people here. Come on, Bo.
And it figures the guy that has no voice has 2 more inductions to go, including this one. Marianne Suarez Ribeiro, softball, 98-99. She was Brookdale's first ever 2-time first-team NGCAA All-American. As a well-rounded shortstop with a powerful bat, she held the NJCAA national record for home runs in a national championship. The same year, she broke the then program record of 73 RBIs in one season. She was also a 2-time first-team All-Region and All-GSAC honoree, in addition to being named the NAGWS Woman of the Year in 1998. Please welcome to be inducted into the Brookdale Hall of Fame, Marianne Suarez Ribeiro, to be inducted by Bo Scannapieco. Marianne.
Well, this lady right here, there's always an argument, you know, when you talk, what was Brookdale's best team? I get that all the time. Bo, you coached so many great teams. I says, you know, I can't tell you that, because some of the teams that are best teams didn't win. But there was never a better player that walked through our field than this young lady right here. There's no question. She was the finest player that ever walked through our program. And I coached 40 All-Americans, and there's nobody better than Marianne. Marianne holds a lot of our records. Home run records, she had 26 home runs in 2 years. Triples, she hit about 24. Lifetime career batting average, .543. Hit 3 home runs in a national championship. Go on and on. But I'll tell you what, never a finer person. And I'll tell you how, I'll give you a story how I met Marianne. There's even a better one. Coaching travel ball again, coaching a team, a bunch of my friends were hanging around. All of a sudden, they all start taking off. They're going to the next field. Go, where you guys going? Go, we're going to go watch Marianne Suarez play. I said, who's she? Oh, she's the best player in the state, Bo. She plays for Kearney High School. You never heard of her? I said, I got to tell you, I haven't. So I said, but I'll go with you. It took all about 5 minutes to figure out that she was the best player. It didn't take long to figure that out. So for about 10 seconds, I said, boy, if I ever had her in my program, what a team I would have. I said, forget that, that's never gonna happen. So she was being recruited by 20 Division I schools. So at the end of that travel season, her coach came up to me, a gentleman by the name of Joe Delanoy, and says, you know, Bo, I've been talking you up to Mary Ann. And I says, Joe, why are you doing this to me? There's no way in the world. He said, Bo, you stay close to her, you talk to her. So midnight, I'm there at a field talking to Mary Ann, Thompson Park, right near Brookdale, after a tournament, after she beat me in the finals. So Mary Ann and I were having a discussion about where she wants to go to school. And she said to me, she says, well, Bo, there's about 15 other schools I'm interested in. I said, well, where do I rank? She goes, you're 15th. It's all right. You know, she was throwing out Seton Hall, Villanova, Hofstra. So I said, you know, Mary Ann, I'm really not number 15, I'm number 2 because you just don't know it yet. Because every one of those schools is one direction. I'm the only other direction. So I'll always be number 2, you just don't know it yet. So she went, yeah. So the way I had to recruit Mary Ann is I didn't follow her around. I don't know if Mary Ann even knows this story, but the way I recruited Mary Ann, I had to get a strategy. So I recruited her through her guidance counselor. That's what I did. So I would call her guidance counselor maybe every 2 weeks, and she would go, Bo, this school dropped out, that school dropped out, this school dropped out. She didn't like the coach there, didn't like the campus there. So I remember bringing Mary Ann on campus in December of that year, and I said, Mary Ann, how many schools you looking at? She goes, Bo, I'm down to about 8 now. I said, where am I, number 8? She said, you got it. So I said, I still think I'm really number 2. You just don't know it yet. So went on and on. I had my season, Mary Ann had her season, and then that summer I was coaching again in Mercer County Park. I was there at a tournament, and I ran up to Mary Ann, and she said to me, Bo, it was down to 2 schools, you and Ryder. And she says, and I'm gonna go to Ryder. I said, well, see, I always was number 2. As I always say, she said, yeah. And I felt kind of bad, but I said, you know what? For me to be in a running for the best player in New Jersey that long, that's pretty good. I don't know if she ever had a bad day, but even if she did, you never heard anything from her. She was a pleasure to coach. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud again that I just wish I had a better voice. But Mary Ann, congratulations, well deserved.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I didn't prepare a formal speech tonight, but like Jen Rosant said, you give us a bat and a ball, and we'll probably put on a great show for you right now. So, I really want to just thank Brookdale for this tremendous honor and congratulate all the inductees that have been inducted tonight. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my mother-in-law and my husband for being here and for their continued support. Even now as a coach, my husband continues to stand by my side and lead the way for me to try to pass down my talent onto the young generation soon to come and hopefully play for Bo one day. Also, in addition, they couldn't be here tonight, but the 2 people that have been a tremendous supporter of mine and my parents, unfortunately they're overseas, and I'd just like to thank them. And as all the parents in the room know, you put in so much time year after year with your kids and traveling and waking up at the crack of dawn, and if it was not for you, we wouldn't be standing here today. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Bo, who truly is the epitome of what a coach should be, standing by his teammates day in and day out, not only being a coach, but being a friend and always having his door open to all of us, as I'm sure every single one of his female athletes here today could truly and honestly abide by. And Bo, I honestly wouldn't be here today if it were not for you, and this is dedicated to you. I truly love you, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
thought he had one more left. I forgot he's had a whole team going in tonight, too. Well, why don't you come on stage with me? You know, you're kind of like my partner here. I'm not sharing my fee, by the way. By the way, I'm not getting paid, so I can't share. Next up, we'd like to welcome Coach Paul Maclaughlin, who was the baseball coach from 1971 through 1998. Legendary coach, as everyone knows, NJCAA Hall of Famer. He started the baseball program at Brookdale, and in 28 years, he compiled a record of 877 wins, 248 losses, and 2 ties. He took the team to 8 NJCAA World Series titles, or World Series appearances. He won 24 Garden State Athletic Conference championships, including 13 consecutive years. He won 7 Region 19 championships, and his career was highlighted by the individual accolades of players that he produced: 17 All-Americans, 85 All-Region honorees, 71 All-Garden State Athletic Conference winners, 59 players drafted by Major League Baseball, a pitcher who threw no-hitter in the big leagues, John Montefiusco, and a hitter, Denny Walling, who played 15 years in the major leagues, became one of the best pinch hitters in baseball, and was a major league hitting coach in both Oakland and New York with the Mets, and he produced 1 major league announcer. Here to induct... Thank you for cutting me, by the way, Coach. Here to induct Coach Paul Maclaughlin into the Brookdale Hall of Fame is my partner up here, Bo Scannapieco. Bo.
This is a special one for me because I owe Paul my career. I really do. I never aspired to be a coach. I can remember in the fall of 1976, I came back to Brookdale to get a grade change sent out to Trenton State. So I figured on my way out, I said, you know, I'm going to go see Paul, some of the guys on the team that I knew. So I went out there and we started talking a little bit, Paul, and then he said to me, Bo, what are you doing next year? I said, well, I'll be done with my student teaching, be looking for a job. I says, I want to be a teacher and want my summers off. That's what I thought I wanted to do. He says, well, you know, why don't you try coaching? And I says, I don't know, Paul. I said, maybe I'll give it 1 year. Yeah, man, you know, I have nothing to do. I didn't have a job then. So I started coaching. 39 years later, I'm still coaching. But I owe Paul my career. And the thing about, I think has to be said about Paul is, look at his coaching tree. And that's where the true evaluation is. You got Johnny Johnson right here sitting right there. Johnny had 500 wins, and last year he was Region 19 Coach of the Year by vote. That says a lot. You know, you can go with Mike Morgan, who just coached St. John Vianney to a state championship. Danny McCafferty, who was Big East Player of the Year when he left Brookdale. He coached Cranford to multiple championships. And the list goes on and on. And I think that's where the legacy of a true coach is. And about how many people he sent to 4-year schools to play, as well as, you know, major leaguers. That's the stuff you know. So I think Paul shaped the lives of a lot of people. And I always tell him, Paul, I owe you my career. And, you know, even though I went in a different direction, some of the stuff I took with me was all due to Paul. So when Paul called me last Friday and we talked about it and said, you know, Bo, would you? I said, I was honored. Again, I wish I would say more, but I don't want to take too many people's time. But it's my privilege, and I'm so proud to be inducting Paul Maclaughlin in the Hall of Fame.
The most important people here tonight, first of all, not in any order except number 1 is my wife Barbara, who most of you know. Barbara's over here. Stand up, Barb. She's embarrassed. And then I have my 3 daughters, Tricia, Holly, and Karen, with their either fiancés or husband. And I have my grandson, Gavin. Gavin, stand up. Hey. And then also I'd like to introduce the patriarch of Brookdale baseball.
Oh, yeah.
The Count Senior Montefiusco. Stand up, John. Everybody knows the count, the girls, the guys, everybody. He's a great man, always has been. I think what's important, I was speaking with Doug Welsh earlier tonight, and he said that people say Brookdale's not the same as it used to be, and it's not. It never will be, and that's a shame. But I can remember going to our first region tournament. We had one van. We had to go to Newcastle, Pennsylvania. For those of you that don't know that, it's the other side of Pittsburgh. We had one van. The entire team was in the van, plus all the bats. In those days, we had wooden bats. All the luggage was in there, everything, and off we went. We played, we did fine. Came home. We no sooner pulled off the interstate, and one of the tires blew out. The only time it ever happened, and the whole time I ever coached, Doug and I were talking about it. But who fixed the tire? Piazza? Somebody. Somebody fixed the tire, and then we got home safe and sound. But it could have killed everybody if it happened 2 miles back. So we were lucky, and we moved on from there. People always ask me, what am I most proud of? I think it's our winning percentage. When I retired, Brookdale had the best winning percentage of any junior college team in the country. And it was
78%.
78%. But I would like to just mention a couple people that went through the program, because I'm just a guy that got stuck in the right place at the right time. We've got coaches all over the place, as Bo said. Johnny Johnson, who coaches Brookdale. Dean Ehalt's a coach at Monmouth University. Mike Morgan won a state championship this year at St. John Vianney. Cranford's coach, Dennis McCaffrey, won a state title for third or fourth time at Cranford. Dennis was the only player in the history of the Big East to be Player of the Year the first year he was there, as well as who's who in American sports and universities. As far as baseball concerned, our most famous graduate, of course, was the Count. John, you want to stand up? Is he still here, or did he go to sleep? There, he left? Okay. All right. John was the National League Rookie of the Year. He's in the Hall of Fame 5 times in Cooperstown. We had Denny Walling, who was, 17, 18, bunch of years in the major leagues. Great hitter, great player. Comes back all the time. They fail to realize that we had 2 players who were the National NAIA Players of the Year, Jeff Capilla and Don Slocum. We had 4 ACC Players of the Year, Denny Walling, Pete Pelt, Steve Youngman, and Mark Oshow. We had the #1 player in the Major League Draft one year, which was Denny Walling. And I can go on. We had Don Jacoby. I was coaching a game up in Nassau, and I see this little guy down the line. I said, who the heck is that? He looks familiar. He was Don Jacoby, played for us 77?
78, yeah.
77, 78. And Donnie's the head of Major League Scouting for the entire Major Leagues. So these are the kind of people that we turned out, and that's what I'm most proud of. We got businessmen back here, very successful. We have some other guys who I like to kid all the time, but they kid me more than I kid them, so it's a good friendship. And they've done a lot for me over the years. But the only thing I can say is thank you to everybody here. I know Webster was instrumental in getting this going the last couple of years. Thank you, Webb. Don't forget me on the golf circuit. But everything was good. I can't tell you what Brookdale meant to me. I was 43 years there as a coach and teacher. And I taught math, unfortunately, but had a great time. We did a lot of hard work, and we worked hard to get the program where it was. And the kids worked even harder, and it's a tribute to them. So I thank you very much. And maybe, Johnny, you'll be up here in a couple of years when you get old enough to retire. And I'll come back for yours. Okay, thank you very much.
He was charged with starting the first ever athletics program at Brookdale back in 1971. In its inception, The program housed just 4 teams, all men's sports: soccer, basketball, golf, and cross country. Then in 1974, wrestling was added. The first opportunity for women was tennis. Women's soccer then came, as female student athletes were able to get in on the athletics at Brookdale. Bob started that program for the women's soccer team in 1981. Not just an administrator, he enjoyed a 155 and 103 record as the men's basketball coach. And one of the things about being a student at Brookdale, and I mentioned how important WBJB radio was to me in my development, but not only did we broadcast the baseball games, but we broadcast Bob's basketball games as well. And I have these memories of some of those weekday afternoon games were not very well attended, being polite. And Phil Christovic, who was a fellow student, he was my color man, and I was the play-by-play guy. And it was a really good way to learn, because you'd be doing the game and you'd be really into it, and you would say, well, you know, Joe Jones is on the line and he's having a horrible year shooting foul shots. And Joe Jones would turn around and look at you because he heard you. There were so few people in the arena, the guy could hear what you were saying. So I was like, wow, what do I do? Am I honest to my audience, or do I worry about what that guy thinks? Well, I learned right there, you're always honest to your audience. To induct Bob Walsack as Shawn Noel, the current athletic director. And here he is, folks, the patriarch of Brookdale Athletics, Mr. Bob Walsack.
It's really good to see so many familiar faces here tonight. And I have 13 family members with me tonight. I'm going to introduce them one at a time, and please hold the applause at the end. Hello. Only kidding. It's a long night, and I want to make this short. I do have a few stories to tell you, though. When we first started our intercollegiate basketball program, we were without athletic facilities. We used Red Bank Catholic High School to practice. We used Earl Naval Base Gymnasium to practice. And if you look in your brochure on the next to the last page, it shows me coaching basketball at the parking lot at Brookdale Community College. And we played our home games at Christian Brothers Academy. And we did manage to win our share of games that year. If Paul can remember, way back when we started the baseball program, we were playing on a little league field adjacent to the Brookdale campus. And in left field, we had an apple tree, and if you hit the apple tree, it was all you could get. And if you were able to hit it over the apple tree in the woods, it was an automatic double. And if you hit it down the right field line and into the road, it was an automatic double. Well, we had to make some changes. We were losing a couple right fielders due to traffic. So we decided to use local high schools, and we used Shore Regional, we used Middletown High School, and we used other local high schools. So to begin the program, it was a chore. We tried to keep parity in the program. For every man's sport, we tried to add a woman's sport. We had men and women's basketball. We had men and women's tennis, and for baseball, we added softball. For wrestling, we brought in cheerleaders. Now, I can remember at one of the many budget meetings that I had, Tom Alk was there, who was the vice president of the college, George Fair, financial director of the college, and we would go down item by item on my budget, and their job was to cut out whatever they could, and my job was to justify why it was in the budget. Well, we came to an item, and Tom Alk said, Dan skins. What are Dan skins? We can cut out Dan skins, Bob. I said, Tom, if you want to do that, I said, that's okay with me. And George Fair said, Bob, what are Dan skins? And I said, that's the cheerleaders' underpanties. So, needless to say, it was put back in our budget. You know, there's an old saying that if you find something in life that you really enjoy, you won't have to work a day in your life. And I really enjoyed my work at Brookdale. I had a tremendous staff. Rich Karpinski,
Paul, Maclaughlin. I'm trying to think of the soccer. Doug Welsh. Tom Scannapieco. You know, I could put my glasses on and read off the paper, but I want to get out of here. So, and I enjoyed the staff. I enjoyed my work. And this is just the icing on the cake for me. So I want to thank the committee and everybody else involved. Thank you very much.
We just witnessed what a great leader Bob was. He didn't even wait for his inductor to induct him. He went right to the speech. Gotta love a guy that gets right to it. And our final inductees for the night, Marlon Brando, please come back up. The 2002 softball team, and I'm gonna let Bo do all of the accolades. When I was doing my notes, I'll even lend you these. It turned out there were 3 pages just to introduce the team. So what I'm going to do, you won the 2002 National Championship. We could start from there. Okay, so I'm going to give you my notes on them. It's a treat to go into a hall as a member of a team. I'm in the St. John Vianney Athletic Hall of Fame as an individual athlete, but I'm also in for the 1977 baseball team that lost in the state championship. I'm as honored to be in that group as I was when I was inducted as an individual, because all of those guys on that team are still my best friends. I saw Mike DiBenedetto today, who, by the way, was Bill Hill's teammate 78 and 79 at Brookdale. Joe's Barbershop. I had to go to Federici's to have pizza. I'm back in New Jersey, so went down to Freehill to see Mike today. But the teammate aspect of this is what it's all about, and I'm sure these young ladies coming up will echo that. So will the members here of the softball team being inducted please join your coach on the stage.
Before I talk about the team, I just want to say a couple words about Bob. I just need a minute. I worked with Bob for 19 years, and I said I worked with him. I never thought I would ever work for him. He was a great boss, and I was so happy when Bob got this award as well, because it's so well deserved. He was there during the dog days, and I owe him a lot, especially when I first started coaching. It was at one point where we had the #1 intramural program in the state, and that was due to Bob's tutelage and helping me do that. So Bob, I want to thank you as well. Okay, what can I say about these young ladies? I could say a lot. They drove me crazy, but they were a great team. You got to understand the histrionics of it. In 97, 98, 2000, we came so close to winning nationals. Something always happened, whether it was a bad call, the weather. We got some really, really tough breaks. We lost 2 national title games to College of DuPage, who was the #1 team at that time. 2001, we didn't do very well in the nationals, but one of the things that I said was, I have 6 returners. And I says, we're going to make something next year because of the recruiting class I had coming in. I had the #1 pitcher in the region coming back, Dara DiVincenzo. Dara was a top pitcher in the nation. I had Sarah Otto coming back from that team, who I moved to third base. Where's Sarah? There we go. I had Ali Sensi, who led the nation in home runs. I made Ali a center fielder. I had Tiffany Kenny coming back, who was injured a lot her freshman year, and I put Tiffany in right field, and what a year she had. And then I had Stephanie Bird, who was a returning catcher on that team. And then when my recruiting class that came in 2002, I had Alana Machado, right here, my catcher, smallest one on the team. I'm going to tell you a little story about Alana. We were out in the Nationals. We had to win 3 games on the second day because we got rained out the first day. So after we won the 3rd game, the coach came up to me from Joliet and said to me, "Hey, Bo, what happened to your #1 catcher?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, everybody here," he was a baseball coach, "everybody here has a catcher about 6 foot, but you have Alana, the little girl." I said, "Let me ask you a question, Wayne. Did you see her taking off her mask running to the backstop?" "No." "Did you see anybody stealing on her?" He said, "No." I said, "I think she did a pretty good job." So, that's how I answered that. So, and Kim Rosner at first base. Kim drove in 45 runs. She was a freshman that year. Kim got a lot of big hits from me. Second base, I got Allison Krilla, who we're telling the story with Dr. Murphy before we even started tonight. Allison had graduated Notre Dame, and I saw her at winter orientation. She was an all-state player from RBC who had graduated Notre Dame the year before. And I said to Allison, I bumped into her, I said, "Do you want to play softball?" And she says, "Bo, if you can figure out how I can get 12 credits and keep my job, I can do it." And we did that. I had Amanda Smith at shortstop, first team All-American. Amanda Smith, Tony Graham would know this, in 2000 got the Jim Sullivan Award as the outstanding female athlete in Monmouth and Ocean County. I remember that. Amanda Smith led the nation in runs scored. Her on-base percentage that year was .643. So when Amanda got on, we were going to score. So Sarah Otto played third, great third baseman. Center field, like alley, right field, Tiffany Kenny. Then I had the 2 best pitchers in the nation, and Marissa Bush and Dara DiVincenzo. 29 shutouts. 13 no-hitters. Got home for dinner a lot that day early. A lot. They were #1 and 2 in the nation. So, just to give you a little histrionics about the Nationals, real quick, I won't keep it much longer. We got rained out the first day. We played in Joliet, Illinois, and it was freezing. It was sub-freezing weather. It was a record for cold weather when we were there. So we got rained out the first day, and the second day we had to play 3 times if we were going to go to the finals of the winners bracket. Jack Ryan was the AD. I called him up. I said, "Jack, you got to come out." I said, "Because I think this is going to be our year." I said, "There's nobody going to beat us. I'm telling you, with the pitchers we got, we're going to be fine." So he came out. So the first game we played a team called Delta, Michigan. Delta, Michigan, one of the girls on the team, this one I don't remember, said to me, "Bo, their record's not that good." And I said to him, I says, "Yeah, but they played all Division II teams. They're going to be one of the best teams we played." We scored 1 run in the first inning. Amanda Smith got on. Tiffany Kenny singled her to third. And Kim Rosner hit this short fly ball to right field, which the right fielder caught in foul territory. Amanda tagged up. I didn't send her. Can't take credit. Tagged up and scored and did a backdoor slide. And nobody did a backdoor slide like Amanda Smith. And we won that game 1-0. Marissa pitched a 1-hitter, won at 1-0. The second game, 6-inning no-hitter by Dara. And we beat Rochester, Minnesota 9-0. Tiffany Kenny was 3 for 3 in that game, drove in 3 runs. That was an easy one. We went back to the hotel. All the girls brought blankets back because we had to play at night. We had 1 game off. It was 39 degrees. And we played 2-time defending national champs, College of DuPage. They were #1 in the nation. They had won 2 nationals in a row, and we're 2-0 in this tournament. And we scored. We're down 2-0 early. Made a couple of mistakes early in the game. Then we chipped away and got a run. And in the 5th inning, we scored 3 runs. 3 runs. Marissa, Kim, and Nikki Maltese, who had a great year for us. in the tournament, knocked in runs, and we won that game 5-2. And they had won 10 straight national championship games. So the next day, we came back, and I figured it was either going to be College of DuPage or Hudson Valley. It was a very good team. We played Hudson Valley 5 times that year. And I said the only thing worried me that last day, and I can remember this, was I said we got to win the first game because I know Marissa was hurting. And I was all the confidence in the world with Dara pitching. And Dara pitched another beautiful game. We lost 1-0. We just couldn't score in that first game, so we had to go to an if game. And it wasn't because of Dara, she pitched a 2-hitter. And the hit that beat us was the softest single you ever seen. So before the second game, I said to Alana, I said, I want to warm up Marissa. Because one of the things I was thinking about doing, I remember this vividly, was I wanted to see how Marissa was because I was no problem pitching Dara again. So I went to Marissa and I said, can you pitch? And she said to me, I've been waiting for this game since I've been 13 years old. Now there's a story behind that. It's a true story. Her sister Sheraton played for me. She was Jen Rosant's teammate in '97. And we lost that year. When I came off the field, Marissa grabbed me by the arm and said, in her pigtails, she was 13, and said, Bo, if I would have been pitching today, we would have won. So, all right, it's a true story. It's a true story. So I said to Marissa, I don't have no problem. Bo, I'll be fine. A little shaky first inning. She gave up 1 hit. But then after that, retired the last 19 batters. Threw a 1-hitter. Allison Krilla got a single. Nikki Maltese sacrifice bunt down to third. The third baseman threw it away. Allison scored all the way from first. And then we had a run an inning later. Marissa knocked in a run with a double, knocked in Sarah Otto. And we wound up winning 2-0. And Marissa shut him down after that. And I have to tell you, we got off to a 15-8 start that year. Maybe the girls don't remember that. A few issues on the team, kind of straightened that out. I said to Jack before the season started, this is the year. And then we started out 15-8. We're starting 8 years. But then we won 31 in a row. And from there on in, it was just the way it was. I want to congratulate these ladies. They all came back from as far as California, from Florida, just to be here tonight. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of what we accomplished that year. And ladies, I love you all. Congratulations. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Alumni is so important to any school, whether it be, last week I was lucky enough, Seton Hall asked me to come speak to at their baseball banquet. It's great to be a part of that family. I was thrilled to be honored to be asked to come back to do this. Bonnie and I love coming home to New Jersey. She's from Wall Township High School. I was a frequent visitor of the Belmar Beach all those years. And me being a part of Brookdale and that baseball program, it was just wonderful to be asked to do this, and I'm just so happy that it all worked out with my schedule. But the thing of it is that it's all about people. People make anything successful. Bob Walsack started the athletics here. He's in this hall now. Hopefully now each year he'll come back as the patriarch. And I realize everyone's scattered, they move, they go to different places, but it's all about you. And now there is, in fact, a hall at Brookdale. So John and Denny have company with a lot of great people. It was wonderful to hear these stories. I could feel the love that you have for your teammates and your coaches, and that's something that will never leave you. And like I said earlier, I mean, all my friends from high school, we had those great baseball teams, and they're still my best friends. I wish I saw them more, but unfortunately, Baltimore's 3 hours away. So thank you all for coming, and I do want to remind you, tomorrow at the basketball game, there's a brunch, 11 a.m. The Hall of Fame inductees tonight are going to be introduced at halftime of the game. So if you have a chance to go by, please come to brunch, and please stay for the game as the Hall of Fame weekend will continue. So best of luck. I'm going to bring Shawn up here to say goodnight, but thank you for inviting me back. It's always wonderful to come home, and Let's hope the Orioles beat the Yankees by 12 games again this year. Thank you very much. Hey, the guy who got cut in 1977 needs a ring. I came 4 games short for the second time in my career this year. I need the ring. The Yankees have enough rings. Let baseball boy in Baltimore get a ring. Thank you all very much for having me here tonight. Thank you. Shawn?
How about a round of applause for our great MC, Jim? Thank you for coming back. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Great job. And congratulations to all the inductees. You know, you're the second class, but with so much time that's gone by, it's like the first class. And, you know, you blazed the trail. And like Jim said, hopefully we can grow this event every year. And hopefully you guys will come back and spread the word. I think there's 1 or 2 more rooms that we still can fill. So we got plenty of room that we can do this in. Again, thank you all for coming.